Hi, James. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Gilbert, and yourself?
Yes, pretty busy these days and missing going on in the world. Maybe you can just give us a bit of a overview, a quick introduction about your Baselode again, because to refresh the memories for some of our audience here.
Yeah, Baselode Energy is a uranium exploration company up in northern Saskatchewan's Athabasca Basin area. We have a unique approach to exploration in that we are looking for near surface, high-grade uranium deposits. And in our first drill program in September 2021, we made a discovery that does have near surface mineralization. We call it ACKIO. Mineralization starts as shallow as 25 meters beneath the surface. So that's the width of a hockey rink, very shallow, and it's high grade uranium. So we're a very detail focused exploration company with with four main projects across the Athabasca Basin area applying this strategy, and we think that we've got a lot of targets to move forward with.
Yeah, so it's been busy for you for sure since the last time we talked, since PDAC. Maybe we can just talk about a bit of your recent developments. We'll start with your recent exploration success here with ACKIO. Can you tell me more about it? It's quite recent news there.
Yeah, it's just funny that you mentioned PDAC because that's when we had just started our exploration programs, really. And we've completed four different drill programs, two of them on our Hook project. And what you just asked about ACKIO was one of those drill programs. Very successful. I think we've highlighted that ACKIO is still growing, especially with Pod 7 and Pod 6. We just recently announced drill hole assay results from Pod 6, and two holes came back with the best uranium intercepts from that specific pod. And quite, they're again shallow mineralization and quite extensive mineralization, 8.5 meters at 0.6% and 21 meters at 0.28%. Those are encouraging results, and you don't get that everywhere else in the world, especially with this being this shallow.
Great to hear. So,
Yeah.
so before this announcement, you also have defined a massive clay alteration system at the Hope project. Can you explain a bit what that is? How significant this is?
Very significant. From a technical standpoint, that's the type of clay alteration that we typically find around these large scale, high grade uranium deposits. And I've seen that a few times in my career on numerous projects. So seeing this type of clay alteration and to the scale and size of it, it's big. It's big. And we are seeing radioactivity increase as we go deeper in the system and also northeast towards a larger gravity low. And it looks very encouraging. All the signs are pointing towards something that we need to follow up. It's not something that we can just walk away from, not with all of these characteristics and details that we've seen so far. It needs to be followed up, and our fingers are crossed that we do have another discovery on our hands. We're funded for 2025, and that's a drill program that we will initiate in 2025. We've got the funding for it.
What's the overall planning now? So what should the investors be looking for in the next few months for the exploration for yourself?
We've still got a lot of assay results to come out from ACKIO and from the Hook project. So those should be rolling out. We've been considering a resource estimate on ACKIO, and that, if that conceptualizes, and that's something else that we can push. One of the unique opportunities that Baselode offers to investors is that we're already funded with $5 million for exploration 2025. So we're moving into the next year without further dilution. And at the current share price, we've been a 100 million market cap company before. I think we can do it again, but just at this share price, I think we've got a lot of upward positive momentum and being able to drill a few projects next year. So that's quite a bit of news coming out in the next 3 to 6 months. We haven't finalized our 2025 plans yet, but we do know that there are two target areas that we need to follow up with immediately next year. But when we get to those, that's the big question.
Yeah, it seems like a lot to look forward to. Now let me turn a bit of attention to the sort of macro uranium side of things, some of the recent developments, especially one that is in your region, the Athabasca Basin, because one of the longtime company, Fission Uranium in the region, is recently was going to a transaction being acquired by Paladin Energy from Australia. And this is not without drama. So the latest is actually the Canadian government is trying to have undergoing a security review on these strategic minerals and why is this transaction gonna being approved or not. So this is still on process. So I bet you've been following the uranium news or some of your peers. Any comments on this whole thing, how it's involved?
Not really any comments, except I like to see it happen within the industry. I think it's a positive sign within the industry. You get a large company like Paladin, who are producers, near-term producers, acquiring a large asset like Fission's PLS project. I think that speaks volumes in itself. So it's very, I think it's good to see that there are companies across the world who are just keeping their eyes open, and there are quality assets, especially in northern Saskatchewan, that are quite available. So I think it's a positive thing. I think it's very good to see in this industry.
Yeah, so hopefully this whole process will end up being successful at the end. We just have to follow the news as how it plays out. And my last question to you is, because we've seen the uranium price, it has gone through a pretty good positive run last year. This year, pretty stabilized at a pretty good level, around $80 range. And why do you think it's not like the whole uranium stocks is not really haven't received a lot of like really got a lot of big time supporters or a lot of people flooding in to support the uranium stock as much as they should be, because the uranium price seems to be a pretty good and healthy spot right now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but I think the uranium price still has to go quite a ways further. Personally, I see the uranium prices being up, whereas a lot of people see it being down from this year. Yeah, technically that's true, but I see it as being up from $15 and $30 that it was only a few years ago. So I think the positive momentum is there to continue moving that spot price forward. And it's just a matter of utilities coming back to the market and signing contracts for uranium fuel. With some of the outcomes we're seeing in production, such as Kazatomprom mentioning that they're curtailing production for 2025, and even Cameco not at full production either. There's a lot of opportunity for that spot price and contract price to continue moving upwards. And I think we will see that in these years to come. It doesn't look like it's been as meteoric a rise or exponential increase as we've seen in previous bull runs. But I think that long-term visibility is certainly there with the amount of nuclear buildouts we're seeing, and nuclear energy having a positive sentiment with the public across the globe. It's very encouraging for uranium explorers and uranium producers in the years to come.
Good to hear. So, yeah, thank you for your time here with us, James, to share your insights with your company and the latest updates. And I hope to speak with you again in a couple of months, maybe before the end of the year.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Thanks a lot, Gilbert.
Thank you for your update.